Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN. Welcome back. And today there's some news from Football 365. Arsenal duo Declan Rice and Mosquera are likely to be out for a week or two, according to football injury expert initial analysis on one football app. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Bro, if only I could speak about the things that's going on. Because when I first read it, she was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? She was going crazy. I'm reading the news. I'm like, what? Declan's injured. And then I do the thing. I was like, oh no, it's likely to be out. So there you go. Likely to be out. So don't shoot the messenger. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie. He said Declan Rice was fine. When did he say that? Because I got the news right now on one football that he's likely to be out. Either way, he better not be out. You know what I'm saying? He better not be out, because if he's out, it's Arteta's fault. It's Arteta's fault for playing him against teams he shouldn't be playing against. Brentford. He better not be. You know what I'm saying? Rice said he's cool. He's all right. He's all right. He's all right. Do you know what I'm saying? Sky Sports confirmed he's all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I wish I could talk about what's going on, but I can't talk about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I need a WhatsApp. I need a WhatsApp thing. I can't talk about what's going on. I'll be real with you, man. I can't talk about what's going on because it's actually mad. You know what I'm saying? It's actually mad. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro, I read it wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I corrected it. You know what I'm saying? That's the news I saw, bro. You know what I'm saying? While juggling some madness, you know what I'm saying? I got the actual witch, but don't worry. Tomorrow we're free, bruv. You know what I'm saying? We're free. We are free. But big up to everyone that's locked in. Let me just put the link out, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie. If it's been confirmed, then fair enough. We need to find out the situation with Mosquera. So Mosquera don't know the situation. We don't know the situation with Mosquera. All right, cool. Fair enough. Let me rewrite that. Let me rewrite that. Mosquera. Mosquera in doubt. Let's put Mosquera in doubt. All right, there we go. Big up to everyone that's locked in, man. Big up to everyone that's locked in. The link is there if you do want to jump on. Apologies, I misread it. Let me see if I can. All right. Let me change this. Mosquera in doubt. Let's just put Mosquera in doubt. There we go. We'll change that. Don't you, man, ever try to tell me, man's clickbait, man. I misread it. Which is reasonable, bro. If you knew what was going on, it's reasonable. You know what I'm saying? It's reasonable. When do I ever clickbait? You know what I'm saying? It's Big North, bruv. It's Big North. There we go. I mean, I get the Mosquera. Hold on, let me move that. Let me get the Mosquera. Yeah, I'm watching the United game, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything is on Arteta. Yeah, everything is on Arteta, bro. He's the manager. He gets paid the big P's, bro. Everything is on Arteta, bro. Let me get Mosquera. Let me change that. Mosquera. I get bro. Where's the picture of this guy, bro? So I can change the thumbnail. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Yo, big up, man. Big up, bro. Big up, bro. All right, let me just quickly change this thumbnail. So with these, bro, just put a normal picture on, bro. All right, let's see this one. All right, let's use this one. Hold on a sec. Deeper injury or not, Rice had to sub himself off. Yeah, listen, hopefully he's not, bro. Hopefully he's not. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he's not. Let me change that. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Mosquera in doubt. There we go. Bro, I'm telling you, man, yeah. Bro, I wish I could discuss what's going on. I can't discuss what's going on. And I'm laughing because it's that pathetic, bro. It's actually that pathetic. But yeah, hold on a sec. Let me just change this. Yo, Manny, what you saying, bro?
Hey, on Northside, Imel, good to see you. I just saw the headline and I had to come rushing in, and I'm a little bit surprised that you put the StreamYard link out so early, but I want to thank you, and thank you for welcoming me on as always. So, I mean, you're going to have to fill me in. Tell me what your thoughts are, and then I'll chime in.
Nah, literally, yeah. What happened, yeah, is, let me just say this. My ex is going crazy, innit? She's having a midlife crisis. And then I'm there looking at the news because I'm trying to set up a thing, innit? And she's doing her craziness, yeah? And then I misread it, innit? So I thought he's injured. I was like, right. I was already going to go live anyway, but I was like, right. So then I do that. Then I was like, then I see the chat. And they're like, no, he's not. I said, wait, hold on. Let me go back to my source. I'm like, okay, I misread it. So yeah, so now I've changed it. Now I've changed the thumbnail on the title.
Yeah, I want to say right now, that is clickbait in excelsis. Very well done, my friend. But having said that, you know, if this is going to be a bit of a preview of what to expect on Saturday at noon, then I'll tell you what, we need to be afraid. And Aston Villa are one of those teams where, you know, we've been literally dismissive of them for quite some time because obviously the Emery factor, people think that because he wasn't able to do it at Arsenal, he simply isn't at the levels and Arteta's better than him, which is simply untrue. And when you take a look at the way they've managed to recover brilliantly from the start they had, you know, they were deep in relegation trouble. They couldn't even score a goal in their first few games. They were affected by PSR, and it looks as though, you know, they were going to be down and out for the count. But they've stuck through it. They've recovered brilliantly. And now they're third, and they're actually a more informed team than us, having won 8 of their 9 previous games and picking up 24 points out of 27. We've just got 23. And we've got a defensive crisis with Saliba out, although there is some hope that he might be back. But Mosquera got injured. We already don't have Gabriel. So there's always going to be a question of how we shuffle the defense. And then we might possibly have Trossard back, but once again, we're sweating on the fitness of players. And so, although, thankfully, you know, the rice is still, you know, ready to cook or be cooked, but, you know, we still have some injuries, and it is a little bit of negligence, really, on Arteta's part. It's just as well that we have a decent enough squad. But once again, these are injuries that shouldn't really be happening, right?
No, this is the thing, like, this is the thing. He shouldn't have been playing against Brentford in the first place. And
absolutely,
the injuries scare anyway. He shouldn't be risking it in the first place, bro. Like, where's the rotation? Where's Northside? Where's the squad? You know what I mean? The manager's spoken about utilizing the squad and the squad being able to, you know, fill in and do a job. Then put faith in these guys against teams like Brentford. You know, don't use your starting lineup against Port Vale and Slavia Prague and teams like that. You don't have to. Look at the level of opposition, and just like I said, at the end of the day, I'm happy that Rice is fine. But with this kind of player management, I reckon he's going to eventually get injured, him or Timber, because he's not being managed correctly. Obviously, I'm happy that he's not injured. I don't want him to be injured. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Arteta's got to fix up. You don't need to play Rice all the time, man. You don't need to play him all the time. Like,
absolutely.
I don't get it with this manager. I don't get it. Like, do you trust your bench or do you not trust your bench? Like, what was the point of Ødegaard? Because right now I can't even see the point of him. Like, what's the point of him being here?
Absolutely. I mean, several of the other teams were, you know, rotating quite a bit. In fact, I do believe that Manchester United might be rotating tonight because they've got West Ham. Brentford even saw it fit to not even pick Jordan Henderson for yesterday's game. So that really tells it all. I mean, a lot of these managers have seen these midweek fixtures as almost like, you know, midweek, you know, Carling League Cup fixtures more than anything else. So that would be the time to rotate. And I'm just taking a look at the United lineups now. There is there's no Dalot starting, but there is Matheus Cunha for United. Casemiro's in the middle of midfield. There is Dalot, actually. He is actually one of the 3 centre-backs, along with Aidan Heaven and Luke Shaw. Mazraoui on the left and Diallo on the right. Once again, that 3-4-2-1, we'll see what he's cooking. And for West Ham, when Saka makes a return to Old Trafford, maybe not quite as much rotation in these cases, but that's probably because both sides need a win. But you're absolutely spot on. We're in a position where we were expected to beat Brentford anyway. We didn't need to start Declan Rice. And as you said, we could have picked someone like a Ødegaard. I suppose one big issue, though, is the issue of Zubimendi. Like, you know, he's sort of come in, yeah, and shown a few good touches. Obviously, that long-range goal against Forest has him become a crowd favourite. But there have been occasions where he has been dominated, and I think Lee has mentioned that if you put a bit too much pressure on Ødegaard, on Zubimendi, he can be, you know, he can buckle. And that was how Richarlison scored that goal against us in the NLD by lobbing David Raya. So again, he's bought some players, he's improved the squad in theory, but does he really, really have the players that he wants to be able to, you know, help him work? And again, people are going to say that that's the system, that's the way we play. But again, he's setting himself up for a big fall. It's like Zinchenko and other stuff all over again, and that's what makes me angry. And, you know, the way Villa have been playing, they scored 4 against Brighton coming back from 2-0 down. I'm absolutely worried. And I don't even know if our patched-up team, by comparison, will do us justice, although thankfully we should have Saliba, not Saliba, Saka and Eze starting. He'll probably keep faith with Mikel Merino, and maybe if Trossard isn't fit, then maybe Martinelli keeps his place, or, you know, something there that needs to be some sort of a shuffle. But I'm worried, I really am, and I just don't know what's it going to be like. Well, even last year in the corresponding fixture, they dominated us, and we did get lucky in quite a few ways. So all we can do, I guess, is just hope, and that's not a good place to be in.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. Dr. Dre, long time. How you doing?
Wagwan, brethren. How you doing, man? Good game.
Tudo ótimo. What are you saying? What's your thoughts, bro, with Mosquera?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm honestly not worried. And also, pick up Monty. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Yo, good to see you.
Yeah, good, honestly, nice one. I've been busy doing a lot of other stuff, brother. Good to be back. And how have you been?
Oh, man. Well, you know, same shit, supporting the stupid ass club, but otherwise, you know, we're Gucci, gang. We're Gucci, you know. I mean, like, look. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not worried or stressed one bit, simply because, you know, everyone on the social media blogosphere has been saying that we have the best squad depth in the world, and honestly, perhaps that the sport has ever seen. So, I mean, I mean, of course, I say this all in jest. But to that end, you know, I don't know what everyone is so worried about. You know, we should be going up to Villa Park and, you know, slapping them up, you know, Mandingo style.
Love the sarcasm, by the way.
You bet.
Nah, it's just all these injuries, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know what's going on. Like, Mosquera's had a good start to the season. He's been all right, to be fair. Still yet to see what his real level is. But already injuries, him going down at halftime, Rice not being able to see out the game. I don't know. I just don't trust this manager, because I feel like he plays players even when they're holding an injury. Like, if he's able to inject them, then he will just be like, okay, you're fit and you can play. We've seen it with Rice. We've seen it with Saka. You know what I mean? Rushing back Ødegaard. We've seen him keep Timber on when he's injured. So it's like, I don't really have much faith in him, in his decisions when he says that players are fit. I see, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. His man management of players is questionable with Arteta. You know what I mean? And even the fact that when we went into the Brentford game and they asked him about the centre-backs, and he's like, oh, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. And it's like, they're either fit or they're not. You know what I mean? Does that mean that you're trying to risk them? Are you trying to see if you could inject them and they can play through a certain amount of pain? Like, that's worrying signs for a manager that you want to, you know, manage players properly and make them avoid injuries, when you're saying we'll see tomorrow before a game, when we know that the player's got a bad injury or got an injury that's going to keep them out for a couple of weeks. Why are you even communicating that? You should just purely say, listen, he's out. It's going to be a couple of weeks and that's it. It's kind of like you're trying to test the waters.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's almost like he's like litmus testing everything that he says like in a press conference. as if potentially he's almost like grading himself on what he's saying. But it's like watching some, like alleyway, like magic show like going on, we can tell that there's a lot of obfuscation. We can tell that it's also intentional, probably because if he were to admit, I guess perhaps like the severity and the extremity of such an injury, people would be giving him shit, saying, considering that this is not the first instance or the fifth instance, like why is this something that is so reoccurring all the time? And that means that he has to take ownership and accountability for that. And we know, like he avoids accountability like the plague.
Yeah. Regardless, we have to win the Villa game. When I look at the schedule, I don't know how you guys feel. When I look at the schedule, Villa, Club Brugge, Wolves, Everton, Palace in the Cup, Brighton, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Inter, Man United, Leeds, Sunderland, Brentford, and then Spurs, Chelsea. I'm expecting at least up to February. Those are all winnable games. I'm expecting that. With the expectation that we have of this club, the way that people wax lyrical about this manager, you got to perform. You can't say that, the league's ours and the league's done in October and see that run and look at the teams that we got to face and say, we should be dropping points and things like that. I'm expecting wins. I'm expecting wins in all those games. All of them. I don't know about you guys.
Doctor, you can go first on this one.
I was actually going to be giving you like the credit for it. So I think we can all appreciate that we're not going to win every game, and it's certainly I don't think that's anyone's expectation that we're going to. But I think we've also seen over time as well that there are matches that need to be won. Certainly as well, because if we continue rather to drop silly points here and there, they always catch up to us at the end of the day. So herein lies another opportunity for Mikel to demonstrate that he actually has learned something over the last 6 years, and I think we all know like what the conclusion is going to be. If we end up getting nothing over the line, a lot of people aren't going to like it, but no one fucking cares. Our club is so much larger than any other employee or manager. Across time, and I think this season as well is also going to also demonstrate whether or not either the squad is good enough and the manager isn't, or the manager is decent enough but the squad isn't. But simultaneously, this squad is also like the imprint and the reflection of the manager. So there's just not a whole lot of wiggle room that that Mikel can use, as well as his most ardent litigators online.
Completely agree. And go ahead.
Go, man.
Yeah, listen, I think one reason why, I'm really, really affected by all of this is it isn't even just about Arteta. There's a reason, gentlemen, why we haven't won the league since 2004. And even now, we still strut about asking people, is yours gold? And if I were in their shoes, I'd say, to those other people, I'd say, well, no, ours may not be gold, but we've won the league more recently than you have. We've won it multiple times than you. We've also managed to win European trophies that you haven't won. You haven't even reached a final since Mikel Arteta took over. You have no business, trying to big yourself up to us. So in the words of your beloved manager, shut your mouth and eat it, you idiotic, self-righteous bottlers. But I'll tell you what, it goes back to Wenger as well. He was another manager who, as we all know, came in with his promise to deliver some wonderful, entertaining football, which was an antithesis to what George Graham had all of those years. And Graham actually was wonderful for us. He won, of course, our only recognised European trophy. The Fairs Cup was just an invitation tournament, which isn't even recognised by UEFA, quite frankly. But when we won our first double, we were all absolutely ecstatic, and we knew that in Wenger we had someone who could, stay the course. But after a certain period of time, it got a little bit, predictable. People started to work us out very, very frequently, and the league trophies and the big trophies just dried up. Yeah, we won a few FA Cups in between, happy days, but still, it just wasn't quite good enough. And now we see a manager right now who also makes it clear that even though his tactics and style have been found out very, very frequently, very, very often, and have been worked out at the worst possible time, which is why we haven't won anything, he still refuses to change. You know how they say that insanity is pretty much doing the same thing and expecting a different result every time? Goodbye, Alexander Zinchenko. Hello, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Very, very talented with potential as a good attacking midfielder, but as a left back, the man can't defend for Toppy. But he inverts, and that's why Arteta loves him so much. And now the poor chap's being pretty much, thrown under the bus, and he's hardly getting any game time, and it's affecting his England prospects. So who is really benefiting from all of this, When you have a situation, boys, where the manager refuses to change and says that's the way, we've done it, we're going to continue to do it, and that's not really going to change. I'm sorry, but there comes a time when you have to consider different options, especially when you see your preferred option not working again and again and again. And that stubbornness is why I don't have any faith in him. And it all goes back to, all of those failures and how I still have PTSD from some of them, including the 8-point debacle where we were 8 points ahead and allowed City to overtake us. I could never forgive Arteta for that. And then, we mock Emery and his Aston Villa team as not being at our level. In 2024, they did the double over us. And we ended up losing by 2 points. We just don't have that level of self-awareness, that humility to start to realize, we need to do something different. And we need to start, maybe planning things a little bit better. I suppose it's good that we probably do have a better squad right now. But as you say, Northside, as you allude to, he doesn't know how to use his damn squad. And now we're in a situation where we could have a patched-up defence when we go over to Birmingham. Look, I guess the reason why we're still, in the position where we're in now is probably down to luck. And Kenny Ken always says that it's a reflection of how inconsistent the league is when you take a look at Liverpool's struggles especially. But, there's always going to be a time when the other teams will just gain on us and we have to make sure that we keep winning. If we can continue, when you depend on luck for far too long, it's bound to run out sometime. They often say that, BS might get you to the top. It won't really keep you there. And yet we just never learn these lessons. And that's why we're still so apprehensive. We're anxious. We're afraid. We're just not confident. And anyone who says, you should have confidence in this team and this manager, and if you don't you dare call yourself an Arsenal fan. If I see any of those people in real life, I feel like giving them an absolute smack. I'm sorry to say that.
If I could also just piggyback onto that, I think part of the reason why Arteta is so stubborn is simply because these are players that he had personally demanded at the club, rather hand over fist, saying do whatever you can to bring these players in, and and to an extent, if he were to say turn his back on them, whether it be Ødegaard, whether it be 29, whether it be Calafiori, whether it be players individual players, or even Marino for that matter, if any of those players had a downturn, he's still sticking behind them simply because they were his players, and if they underperform, or rather if they get frozen out of the squad, that's a direct reflection and ultimately a damnation. Rather on his talent ID or lack thereof. It's why I still strongly believe that. As I'm sure that we've all been saying, the moment that 29, can walk, he is going to be starting simply because that is Arteta's player. The reason why also, for that matter, that Ødegaard still has the captain's armband is simply because, not only because of his faith in the player, but also an attempt to disprove the comments made by Tony Adams earlier in the year. I think it all revolves back just to maintaining that facade of infallibility.
I would agree. And just briefly before we let PK MCFC come in, that's in stark contrast to Unai Emery, who in my opinion has a brilliant talent ID. Whatever players he wants, he identifies, he starts and sticks faith in. You take a look at Harvey Elliott, he didn't want him. He was a Monchi signing. And now with the millstone of having to play him in 10 games and pay for him on his head, Emery says, no, it's just not worth it. We need to end this. So if you are a manager and you have that experience and that belief, you stick with your talent ID, you stick with your guns, and you also have to have the, how we might say cojones, you might say that, to, drop a person who just isn't performing to your standard. Of course, sometimes, in the case of certain players, he does have a tendency to trust them a little bit more and maybe give them games that they don't deserve. But with Ollie Watkins, he's back in form. He scored 2 and, he could be one to watch out for. So you see the difference. And yet you've got these people still saying, no, Arteta's better than Emery. The best-looking Spaniard we know and we love him so much. First of all, Cesc Fabregas and Jose Reyes will always be better looking than that Everton. Disgusting.
Nice, man. I think so far, before we bring in PK, big up PK, love for joining. And before we bring him in, I just wanted to say, you look at the season, and so far, the start of the season, we wasn't playing well. Let's just be honest about it. We wasn't good from the first game. Man United, we were lucky to get something out of that game. We wasn't good. The way that we approached the Man City and Liverpool game wasn't good. We dropped points. The midfield was kind of all over the place. We didn't really introduce Eze and Gyökeres in an environment where everybody knew what they were doing, and we had a cohesive style of play. We definitely started picking it up, obviously winning against Atletico and winning a couple of games, West Ham, Fulham. We won some games and we started gaining some momentum. You can look at certain games and say, okay, look at the way that we performed, obviously against Bayern as well, another good performance. But then you look at Sunderland, you look at Chelsea, that's where the dip in form is again. And this is the inconsistency that I get onto about this team, because we didn't learn from the Sunderland game. The first half against Sunderland, lackluster. The first half against Chelsea, lackluster. We didn't have no idea of how to play through their press. Was getting pressed all the time, losing the ball constantly. And yeah, we got a bit more back into the game in the second half. But again, when you want to be champions, this is why I said with the remaining games, because we've been lackluster against Chelsea and Sunderland, this is why it's racking up on top of not the right approach against Liverpool, not the right approach against Man City. We've already been dropping points. Do you know what I mean? We've been dropping points. And this is why I look at this run and I say, if this team is as amazing as the people that love and support Mikel so badly, we can't drop no more points, because we're not leaving ourselves with much of a gap for us to drop any more points. And the problem is, as much as you can look at the Atletico performance, the Bayern performance, the Spurs performance, we still have performances like those games. And those games don't go under the rug, because just because we turn up against Brentford doesn't mean you can just play for 45 minutes against Chelsea and Sunderland. And this is the requirement if we're going to be champions. If people just want us to get in the top 4, then yeah, we can play like this. Yeah, we can continue this form, because we'll get top 4 comfortably like this. But are we going to be champions in a year that everybody said we must be winning a major honor this season? And that is why it seems like harsh criticism. But at the same time, if you want to be champions, that's the requirement. Even with people being inconsistent, they're still only 5 points, away from us. Like every time we're building a lead, it's not actually that much of a lead. Do you know what I mean? So this is the thing. Like, as much as people keep saying, oh, well, City, look at Chelsea, look at this, look at that. We always have somebody within that kind of 4 to 5 points range where 2 games swing and all of a sudden it looks different for us. You know what I mean? And that is why I don't get carried away. That is why I do get annoyed. And like I said, I misread it at the start and I thought Declan was injured because I was multitasking. That's a lesson 101 now. I won't be multitasking when I'm watching the news. But yeah, like that's why I was like, here it goes. Because that's how I feel. I feel like here it goes for another player to get injured. Mosquera going down, Rice going down. Is he even fully fit? I mean, who else are we going to run into the ground? We're bringing Ødegaard back. We better watch out because he's had already 2 shoulder injuries this season. So are we going to be more careful with Ødegaard? Because I'm not saying that I love Ødegaard, but at the end of the day, I'd rather a player that's available to at least impact off the bench. Do you know what I mean? I don't want none of my players injured. So yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know, but I look on it and I'm just like, we don't know what type of Arsenal we're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like, you turn up against Bayern, you don't turn up against Chelsea. You need to turn up against Chelsea. You can't just go, oh, well, it doesn't matter. After we saw what they did against Barca, we shouldn't have been naive and think that we can only play for 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And that was the bit that was just frustrating. Even against Brentford, we're very frustrating in front of goal at times. And it's just like, even then, it wasn't the best performance, but we did enough to get over the line. And it's like, okay, well, we got over the line. How are we going to perform against Villa? That's a team in a great run. That's a team that's winning back-to-back games and a great run. They were down towards relegation, bottom side of the table earlier on this season. And now all of a sudden they're in the top 4. You know what I mean? How quickly things can shift. You know what I mean? But PK, what's your thoughts, bro? Because obviously you're a City fan. How do you feel about your team? Because obviously you guys have conceded 6 goals in 2 games. Defensively, you're not looking great, but attacking, you're looking good.
We are not good enough. Like, that's the only thing I want to say about City. We are not good enough as of now. If we want to win the league, we can only hope that Arsenal drops points, because I'm looking at the fixtures, like you said yesterday, that until we two play each other, you have very easy fixtures and you should not be losing even a single one. Forget about losing, you shouldn't even drop points. Okay. Because the only difficult fixture I see in that is Liverpool at home. That too, like, I don't think you guys are gonna drop any points. So basically, there is no excuse for us Arsenal this season. And if we don't turn up, if we are not better in the second half of the season, I don't think we're gonna win the league. But yeah, Arsenal has no excuse whatsoever.
I don't think so. Not with an opportunity like this. I mean, Doc, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think you brought probably like the real £64,000 answer is that we know that these players have performances like against Spuds, like against Bayern. We know that these players have that in their locker. It's a matter of seeing it more consistently rather. And you know, so when we like play as well as we did have like against Bayern, or even say against like Atletico Madrid, like but yet the same team does not turn up against, say, like a Sunderland or a Chelsea. On one hand, we could perhaps look at it and say, you know, like, our team setting up differently against us, like in Europe, in contrast to domestically, and I think there is a factor there. But at the end of the day, like, it shouldn't really matter how other teams are setting up. It shouldn't matter how I guess what players other teams put on the pitch. Like, it only matters what we do. It only matters like what our tactics are and what we are going to do, like to score goals, to get the 3 points, and then to move on towards seeing our pits in May. So I definitely hear like what PK has to say. I mean, like, I think above all else, I think like the real wild card is the manager itself. Like, you know, like, and Pep by far and large is probably going to be like, he's probably going to go down as one of the best managers that the sport has ever seen, simply because like he is the driver of that car. You still have to consider that there is some consistency and reliability, you know, like, of that driver, and considering that Mikel has driven us off a cliff more often than not, as not only as a player but also as a manager. Like, I mean, like, do we think that the banana peel is something expected, or just something that is just so, I guess, like, conditioned in us to think that, well, you know, simply because we haven't been able to get over the line, almost like the parable of Sisyphus, you know, like being able to push the boulder up almost all the way near to the top summit of the mountain, but never being able to get to the summit itself. So, so I mean, like, time will tell. But I mean, like, this year reminds us a lot of that 2015-2016 season. When Leicester had won the league, all the other big teams had dropped off, and the media was, you know, they were saying that we were going to be walking the league simply because the rest of our competitors were not doing as well. But as we also just mentioned, like, City are only 5 points shy, and they were able to overcome that margin at the later end of the season. We haven't even hit January yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Pep, you know, does go into the market to bring reinforcements, something that we are so unfamiliar with as a whole. I mean, like I mean, like I think like over time, like since maybe like 2008, 2009, I think we brought in Arshavin during the winter break, Kim Kallstrom and Dennis Suarez maybe, but apart from that, like our January signings have been fairly poor over time.
Aubameyang.
Oh, was he in the winter?
Yeah. He was actually part of the three-way where Giroud went to Chelsea, Batshuayi moved from Chelsea to Dortmund on loan, and we got Aubameyang from Dortmund.
Wow,
a triangle.
That's a long time ago, though, man.
That's a while ago, yeah.
That's a long time ago.
It's more recent than Arshavin. Give me some credit for that, yeah?
Yeah. You got one. But it's true. A lot of times when we need that player to get us over the line, most time we do go for it in the summer. I mean, do you remember last January we wanted to get Gyökeres in, and they were like, no, wait till that, and then what happened? We got it in the summer. I mean, yeah, we got the player, but I agree. I think if the thing is, I want a DM. I remember I want to ask you guys. I mean, what position? Well, only if we get a player in January, I only think it's going to be one. So a left winger or a DM. For me, I think DM. I think we can still survive without a winger until the summer if we can only get one player. But I think with the DM position, I'm not comfortable with Zubimendi holding down the back line. I'm not comfortable with Ødegaard holding it down. Moreno, I don't even consider him because that's how bad he is in midfield. You know what I mean? Up front, cool. I'm cool with him. But yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I look here, I was just like, if anything happens to Rice, I feel like we're in a massive, massive problem. And this is why I didn't want Partey to go, because I felt like we could have just given him a new contract and, just kept him. Because if we didn't have the money to replace him, then just keep him. If you're not going to recruit better than him, then just keep him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like City, you guys got rid of certain players, KDB and stuff, but you still held on to Bernardo. And even though he should take more of a lesser role in the team, he's still got the experience. And if you're not going to replace him like for like, then you still got that experience. You just don't run him into the ground. And you let other players take on the burden a bit more, and you kind of balance his minutes. Do you know what I mean? But for us to get rid of Partey and then to have two replacements that are nowhere near his level, I feel like that wasn't the right move. I really don't.
Yeah, but the thing is, Northside, obviously, given the legal issues with Partey, we had no choice but to let him go. And that's a discussion for another day. I'm not going to talk about that. And you're absolutely spot on when you say that, with Ødegaard, I can't even think of why he would have even considered buying him, to be brutally honest with you. Maybe, with his association with Raya from years gone by, it would have been an asset. And I would agree with you on one thing, that we do need a DM. But that's also another reason why. Why can't we just, bite a bullet and consider putting Lewis Skelly in that double pivot position? Instead of playing him at left back, where you expect him to do the Zinchenko role of cutting right and providing more control in the midfield, only to see him, struggle like a fish out of water when it comes to, defending his flank. Why not just stick him in the defensive midfield and have Calafiori and Hinchapi, patrolling that particular wing area? Because, of course, the ironic thing is that now defenders are dropping down like flies. But I don't know if it's prudent to necessarily get another defender per se. But even with a defensive midfielder, just puts Lewis Skelly back in. And this is another reason why I can't stand Arteta at times, because he knows it doesn't work, and he does it again and again. And once again, we're having a situation where we're winning games and picking up points due to the strength of some of the other players that we have. But again, I think Seymour mentioned the 2016 season. Interestingly, Spurs ended up being closer to winning the league than we did. But ironically, we ended up finishing second ahead of Tottenham, if that makes any sense, because Spurs actually had the chance to stop Leicester from winning and win the whole thing themselves under Pochettino, and that didn't happen. So this thing about buying players in the summer, you're also spot on there, because, when teams buy in the summer, I mean, in January, I should say, when teams buy in January, they pick certain players who are good at performing those roles, and they're the ones who end up taking the team even further. That's what Manchester United did when they got Henrik Larsson to come over to Old Trafford, and it worked a treat. Last season, Unai Emery did some business in January and got Rashford and Asensio and a few others to come and play. And Rashford and Asensio ended up having brilliant cameos there. Not even just cameos. They were absolutely outstanding. And sadly, they're not there this time. And Unai Emery also knows that if he wants his team to have a serious challenge, a chance of winning the league, a serious crack at it, he will have to buy in January. And that means cancelling the Elliott loan deal. But for us, this is another thing where, again, it's a case of doing the same thing again and again and again, trusting everything will work out fine. This time we'll get it right. And then we see it go all wrong again. I don't even know if we necessarily need a DM because, again, that's money that we have to try to look to try and spend if we have it. And how will that possibly affect our summer recruitment? There are so many questions that need answering, but I think sometimes for this particular case, maybe Arteta should look inside his squad and say, you know what, maybe this idea of playing Lewis Skelly at left back is not working, but I would like to, use his talents in a more positive way. I can have him playing in the double pivot. He can at least add a little bit more of that bite that Zubimendi doesn't have. And he's got that mongrel in him, which I kind of like. I mean, obviously, he's gotten sent off once or twice, but, that just pretty much underlines it. So I'd like to see some more prudence in our way of thinking, especially during January, how we go about things. If you decide, whether or not you decide to spend money, that's, another question. It's how you use your squad and its talents properly that will determine everything. And let's not forget, this is the same manager who wanted to use Jurriën Timber as a left back, another inverted idea. He got his knee crocked. He put Timber back on the right where he belongs. And now he doesn't even want to invert Timber anymore. So this is a guy who, as Seymour said, he doesn't even, he hardly ever knows what he's doing half the time. And that is really what angers me. It's like we literally have to sing, Jesus, please take the damn wheel. If you know that song, Seymour.
Por supuesto, baby, you know.
What are you saying, man? What are you saying? You're looking toxic today, man. You look so grumpy, man. What's going on, man? You're looking real toxic, man. What's going on?
You know what I'm saying?
The rings are gonna come for you.
Yo, no, we mentioned him earlier, yeah? He turned up, you know what I'm saying?
Not one smile, We went against Brentford. That's your logic. We went against Brentford, bro. What do you want them to do, bro?
No. Do you know what, bro? I could, sometimes though, bro. You gotta I know we won, innit? But I think Manny said it earlier on. Something like, well, we get. He just said it. I don't think he said it on. We're getting that situation where we've done good so far up to now, and now we're starting to go back into the shell of paranoia. Do you know every time we play, I know Mourinho scores, so don't get me wrong, he's good in goal. He does score a few goals for Arsenal. But a lot of Arsenal fan base now, he's clinical and all that. Boys, he's not clinical. AFTV the other day, I think Robbie put us on his Instagram yesterday, he scored 22 goals for club and country. Yeah, club and country. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to cross you the line. We have got a striker there, the most formed striker maybe on the planet last year, Gyökeres. The man have scored, how many goals for club and country? So if you're going to get 22 goals, I think my man have scored 122 goals for club and country if you're going to go down there. 100 more goals. So it's and you got Arsenal fans going on on platforms and all that. We play better with Mourinho up front. We play. But you know what you're not realising is, we done this last year. What happened? We got to be real, innit? We have to be in this thing. And this year itself, every time Mourinho have led the line away, how many points have we dropped? He scores, don't get me wrong, he was critical against Chelsea, but how many points have we dropped? It's a results game, isn't it? And if we got more away goal, if we got more points with Gyökeres in the team playing away or Mourinho, because it's a result game. Performances, we had this performance last year, the year before that. So if everyone's talking about the gel and thing, that ain't going to win you the league. It's a results game. If Gyökeres can score from now to the end of the season, 13 tap-ins, and it wins us the league, no one's going to be talking about performances anymore. We got this thing in this club where it's like yesterday you're watching on TV, like when you watch some of them people on webcam and they go live with Terry Flowers and mate, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to the likes of Alan Shearer and Sutton who says people like Gyökeres and even not forget and Alan Shearer, Sutton and Seedorf. He says he brings a different energy to the team. Carlos Seedorf have won the Champions League after Champions League after league title. When he's telling you something like that, I'm not going to listen to some fans, some Tom, Dick, and I haven't got a clue about football. I've seen Alan Shearer win me, Manny, and most probably on here. I've seen Alan Shearer lift the title, him and Sutton. They destroyed the league. They battered the fence with Kenny Dalglish's thing. They used to run defenders ragged. That's how you win league titles. You're not going to have a league title. Okay, Marino's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not there. I find he does good. But you're not going to win a league with him because he go drop when as soon as he drops in the centre mid, there's no more attack. And then you give confidence, like you give confidence and to other teams. And a lot of this fan base said, "Oh, it was last season," but you can see a continuation going into this season. If he keeps doing what he's doing, Mikel Arteta, bro, you take the opposite fans. Yo, we know you got a wicked team, but it's Mikel Arteta. I don't think you know it because of Arteta. Look, you're playing a striker. I see one of my friends earlier on. He said the guy's crazy. You got Gyökeres on the bench, most formed striker in Europe, man, and you know got called up, got voted by other players, and we're still sticking with the last year tactic. And you got a fan base like that. Do you know if we don't win the league, come out and say, we play good football. But who cares? This season he needs to get it right, bro. After this season, because if you think about it, everyone's talking about Man City conceded 4 goals. Yeah, they did. Fair play, but they won the game. People forget that point. Do you get me? Northside. So Arteta needs to get it right. And if you've got the tools like Eze, Gyökeres in your team, find a way. Because you're not going to do it with Marino playing up front. We're not going to do it. That's something, the fan base thing, and a lot of the fan base, you can see when they're going on thing. It didn't work last year. We played him up front in 2 away games this year and we dropped 4 points. So, bro, Arteta on Sunday, he needs to start Gyökeres because Unai Emery, if he starts Marino, Marino, you know already Emery's going to say, they'll get a goal, he's going to drop it to the middle, no attack, let's suffocate him. Let's suffocate him. Do you know who done that? Sunderland. Oh, wait, they just suffocated us. Because there's nothing going up there, nothing going forward. So he needs to find a way where he's got a heart to drop Zubimendi and say, you know, Declan, you sit. Eze, Ødegaard, Gyökeres, Martinelli, Saka, bombarding his defence. He got all these options now. Sometimes you got to take the risk. Because if you don't take the risk in the league, you know what happens already.
No, it's interesting what you say about Moreno because it's the same thing that we were saying about Havertz when we bought Havertz, and I knew you was a massive fan of Havertz, so I find it quite interesting.
I don't mind Havertz though. Havertz is a good player, but this is something where now this is different because you like you've seen the levels when we beat Atletico Madrid. You can't do
so
that.
When it's Moreno, it's about scoring goals.
No, he's got the players now. No,
but then Havertz will defend Havertz, but then he doesn't do what a natural striker does, which is why we went and got Gyökeres scoring goals.
I'm saying to you,
I don't really understand why it changes depending on the player that plays the same position.
It does because Gyökeres in world football, defenders respect him. They're petrified of him. He's got that reputation.
But they're not petrified of Havertz.
No, but now forget Havertz. We're talking Gyökeres now. We're talking Gyökeres now. I'm saying Gyökeres is this.
No, but I'm just saying, innit? I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say to you when you.
No, but also all the top graders are so excited about Havertz. It's funny how you completely dismiss him here, but when we talk about Havertz, you guys are defending him like I'm cussing your cousin or something.
Let's talk present. No, let's talk present. I'm saying. Let's talk present. Well, Havertz haven't even been in there. Havertz have been out. And the thing is, the reason why Havertz got injured, that's the reason why Ed is in the team.
No, do you know what? Do you know why I won't let that? Do you know why? Yeah,
I'm geeking. I swear down.
People like you.
Yeah, but people like you
don't know nothing about ball because you don't rate Havertz. And now that we've got Gyökeres, you completely don't rate him now. It's funny that, bro. That's
no. I still rate Havertz, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy's a goal machine. He comes with reputation. You know what? Okay, last year when you were crying like a baby when we lost to Fulham, do you know why we beat Fulham this year? Because his reputation. When he steps on that pitch, them defenders look at him and think, oh my God. When we went to Newcastle away, we haven't won there for like 3 years. Gyökeres in the team, that bird's thinking, shit, I got to defend against Gyökeres. And West Ham at home, we haven't beat for 2 years. Oh shit, it's his reputation. What comes with him? You know when someone scores that amount of goals, it doesn't matter what team you play for, that player is respected in football. He got that reputation. So when Arsenal walks out of them teams, they look at him thinking, oh shit, not him. That's the difference between Gyökeres and all the rest of the players in our team.
No, I agree. All I'm saying was the way you were defending Havertz, you now rate a striker for completely different reasons, bro.
No, I rate.
You know what I'm saying? And when we was calling up for a clinical striker and saying Havertz wasn't it, you guys' argument was always, yeah, but look at what he does off the ball. What about his work rate off the ball? But now man. That's all I'm saying.
Look how much space he eats up. He's like hungry hippo.
Do you see what I'm saying? How they just change with their play? When we cuss them, yeah. When we cuss him, but he's a very, very good player. He's a very good player. But now all of a sudden, I don't rate strikers that don't score goals. I don't rate strikers that
Havertz have never been a striker anyway.
Oh, here it goes.
Oh, right.
You know there is no. It's like one of them.
Every single year.
You know there is no. It's like when you don't have money and you're looking at someone wasting money and you think, if I have money, I won't waste it. Then you get money and you start wasting it because you didn't know how it feels, didn't it? Like you didn't know how it feels to have a Gyökeres. Like you thought Havertz was the one, innit? I think it's one of them, and now you realized, maybe I was wrong about Havertz. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know what's mad though? We told you about Havertz. You just decided not to listen. You did that celebration.
Listen, Havertz at the end of the day, he's at the club. You got a manager who's going to play him. So why stress about it? I'm not going to stress about it.
So why are you
stressing about
not
winning anything? That's why we're stressing about it. We're not fucking winning anything.
Moreno's not a Gyökeres, bro. You got the difference is.
I actually think Moreno's better up front than Havertz, bro.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. I thought you were going to say better than Gyökeres.
When you got a player right now of Gyökeres' caliber, you can't be playing these players up front no more. That's the truth. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a football fan. We know that. Even a guy who supports maybe Newport County, who supports Wrexham, will know that. You've got to play him up front.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely correct. But I suppose like countering that, like, what is the manager doing to get the best out of Gyökeres that he will do the same for, say, Havertz or I said his name, 29, Merino, any other player that he personally, like either validates or approves. What is this manager doing to get the best out of Gyökeres to feed him in the final third?
No, he's not. Do you know what? Against yesterday, this is when I knew. I think this is when I've always said you got favorite players, but yesterday showed. You know when yesterday Madueke and all them chances they had. That's when you're bringing on for Gyökeres 8 minutes. Why would you want to do that? Bring him on last 2 minutes. I think them chances dropped to him. He puts him in the back of the net. So that's on Arteta. Jeremy, I can't answer for him. I don't agree with him. When you criticize him, because every man deserves criticism. I criticized him for that because it don't make sense what he did yesterday. To me personally,
nasty, nasty for bring the press conference background. You need to back the manager. What do you mean it's Arteta's fault, bro? Bring the press conference background. Listen. You have to. I support you. Back a man, all right? I back the manager, but there's no way in the world you can't walk around. There's no way you can't criticize him. By criticizing doesn't mean you're Arteta out. It just means you got to criticize it.
You see, it's okay when they criticize. Yeah. It's okay. When I criticize, he says, "Why are you crying? Were you in your crony?"
Yeah. But let me tell you something.
When he criticizes, it's okay.
There's two types of fans. There's a fan who criticize, and there's a fan with an agenda. Two types of fans.
Okay, I get
it. It's a crybaby agenda.
Like, which one are you though? Which side are you on?
No, I never went offside.
Yeah. He said it's the non-directional view.
I'm Alak.
You're cold as shit.
I'm Alak. You feel I'm like these guys? Come on, Yasser. These guys, when we lose, do you know when we lose? They have the biggest meltdown ever. It's like bloody hell. It's the end of the world. It is the end of the world.
I'm upset. I'm glad that you're smiling about losses and not winning league titles and being 21 years without a major. I'm glad that this is the problem. Your kind of reaction. It's not a big deal.
Bro, it's
not a big deal. This is how you end up like Arsenal. You know what I mean?
I think he's starting to sound like you now. He's starting slowly.
No, never.
The world is
There's no agenda.
He's in phase 1. You're in phase 6.
Phase 1.
You're getting tired.
Yeah, yes. But if we win the league or don't win the league, I don't lose no sleep over it, bro. I tell you now.
Man said I'm not losing sleep over it. He wants it to be 30 years, He's trying to beat Liverpool's drought,
But he's
it's
moving like
not
slot,
because
yeah?
it's not
It ain't
gonna go.
working, yeah. Just
No,
I'm staying.
I-
I
if
ain't
you
He
need
used to
a
beat the wrong
business,
record.
right?
You know that was.
Manny's a logical man, all right? If you don't win nothing, the club gotta have a board meeting and make that decision. They're on to the fans. The club gotta do it.
But sometimes you need the fans to push it. That's the
Yeah,
point.
these fans,
Exactly.
you know what? Yeah, the fans won't push it. Some of the fan base, but it's down to them. It's down to them. Sometimes the fans want this player and that player, they don't get it. So it's down to them to
Our
make that
fan base are
decision.
slightly different though. Like I was already, we're starting to hear rumbles on that left, right, and center. I think if it gets to the end of the season and we end up just fighting for top 4 again like last season, like then it kind of, I have a feeling it's just gonna go left. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we already don't like our sporting directors. So if things don't work out at the end of the season, we know it's gonna go left. Now the easy target is to hit the manager, innit? Which is what some people do. Oh, it's the manager. But a lot of the times, you have to be able to separate where the real problem is, right? And our issue separately. I know I've kind of moved on, but like you have to know where the problem is so you can fix it from the source. And you can change things at the top, but it doesn't always fix everything else. So like it's one of those things where so you have to be honest about it. Otherwise, you just find that later on, and you have to fix everything else.
Yeah,
And
well, I want to actually
again.
bring. I actually want to bring, our Manchester City fan over here, and I want to bring you in because you've been very silent. You've obviously seen Guardiola managing the club for several years now. You've seen him win league titles, League Cup titles, an FA Cup in between, and also a Champions League. And I think it's fair to say that, they say that once you reach the top, the only way you can go is down if you can't stay there. And last season, obviously, it was a huge drop-off for you lot. Yes, you still finished in the top 4, but you weren't able to win a single title. And even now, you're still there. There is always going to be this belief that you can somehow find a way to come back and challenge us. But you did say that unless you fix up your defense, you're going to have a few problems. I'd like to know your perspective of where the fans stand on Guardiola and your owners and what they feel about the decline from having reached the summit, and what what their input would be, and what the owners are also doing about it. Because there's a part of me that thinks that, the best managers often stay at clubs for a little bit too long. We've seen that with Wenger at Arsenal. Simeone at Atletico Madrid is one who definitely needs to be moved on. What would you say about Guardiola? And I'm sorry for unloading several questions on you at once.
No, it's fine. See, what I think the owners are doing, they're doing whatever Pep wants basically. But I think the recruitment hasn't been good enough. Like, of course, this past window I think it was good, but the windows prior to that were not good enough. And especially since we decided to rest on our laurels after winning the fourth league in a row, that's where we fell behind everybody, I would say. And on top of that, right now, the main issue, of course, the defense, looking from the outside, it's the defense. But the issue is the team is not stable enough at this moment of time. That's the main issue. And we are still finding our feet. At this moment of time, I don't see anything other than the good quality in the attack that makes me feel that we're gonna win the league. But yeah, let's see what happens, because Pep is known to charge up the team for the latter part of the season, and we've got to stay positive. Not like some Arsenal fans, not that much positive, but yeah.
And do you have any ideas? Do you have any ideas on who should come in after Pep? I mean, who would you like to see?
From an emotional point of view, most of the City fans would want company, but looking at the ruthlessness of the winning trophies and how ruthless this whole business is, we should be a bit cautious and bring in someone else until if company proves him worthy, then it's fine. Otherwise, we have to bring in someone like Enrique or someone like that.
Do you think Pep Guardiola will rotate a lot of players on Saturday because you obviously on Saturday because you got Real Madrid on is it Tuesday or Wednesday? You got Real Madrid next game in the Champions League. Yeah, you got Real Madrid next game, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to rotate? Because I know he does that a lot, don't he?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the position of like where we are right now in the Champions League, it's become sort of a must-win because of our bottling against Leverkusen. We should rotate against Sunderland, but again, looking at the quality of Sunderland, I don't think Pep's gonna tinker too much.
Yeah.
We have to maintain our rhythm in order to like keep the momentum going. Otherwise, we win 2 games. Of course, the last 2 wins have not been so impressive. We have been shambolic in terms of defense, but we have to keep the rhythm going because we have not yet caught the pace actually, because we've been winning 2-3 games and then we're losing. Regardless, I don't like to focus on the refereeing decisions that went against us in the Newcastle game, but we lost the game because we didn't take our chances and we were not good enough. So we need to get that momentum going. And for that, we can't really rest many players.
When's Rodri back?
I don't know about that. I think he'll be back by Madrid game, I guess.
Because I saw some of your fans saying that Nico's really exhausted because he's been obviously covering most of the games. That was a big contribution to why you defended so poorly against Fulham. You agree with that?
Yeah. Of course. Once he went out, but we have to look at it in a different manner. That although we lost control of the midfield and all after Nico left, we were 5-1 or 5-2 up at the moment Nico left, and then we immediately conceded 2 goals, and then at the end of the game we didn't have control over the game whatsoever. By the end of the game, we didn't have any control. So yeah, of course, Nico being tired and being subbed off was a big reason behind the capitulation, I would say. But again, we have no other choice because Kovacic is also out for a long period of time. He has had some sort of surgery, and people expected Reinders to be a defensive sort of option, but he's nowhere near that kind of player, and he's most effective in the final third. So that's the reason Nico is getting too much work on his hand.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. I mean, Fuad, you still got us as favourites to win the league. You know what I mean? I know you're criticizing the manager a little bit, but
yeah. I think he's gonna. I hope. I can't think. I hope he does change it a little bit. Jamie, I hope he starts finding a way with trying to play Eze and Martin Ødegaard together. It's even our best player, one of our best attackers this season. You gotta say it's been Trossard. You know, Trossard on the left's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal for Arsenal. He's been good. So yeah, I hope Trossard. We do miss Trossard a little bit because he brings something else to the team, don't he? He got that stability, experience. He knows how to hold the ball. He knows how to turn into it. He's both legged. So he does really help. He does help on our left wing a lot. But I think but when you got Trossard doing that, and when you got Gyökeres on the pitch, he takes 2 defenders away from them both anyway. Jeremy says they've always doubled up on Gyökeres, or sometimes they even have 3 players around him. Every time he picks up the ball, there's 2. So then if he releases the ball to Eze can just find one, and that's why they're always in, and that's why Trossard gets them shots when he's been scoring goals this season. So yeah, I still believe we're going to win the league. I still think we're favourites, but I just don't want to fall into that habit where it's working now. Do you get me? And then when it's pressure moment, we know already. Mourinho done well up front, but we drew 10. How many games last season? We drew 13 games. Was it? A lot of 14. 14. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of games we've drawn.
What's happened to you today? Did you have a nightmare? I can't believe it.
No, it's
what's going on,
bro? You got to listen. It's not me, bro. It's football knowledge.
No, I like it. Yeah, I hope it remains like this.
No, I'm not gonna be, because I think Arteta's gonna listen to me. I'm gonna text him on Instagram. Yo, play Rockers up front.
Text him on Instagram.
Do you know what I mean? So, but I hope you can only hope, bro. You never know with Arteta, is he gonna stick with his favoritism? Is he gonna? You never know with him, bro. Honestly, you never know. But I'll give credit to the defenders, though. The two centre backs, they done well. Jamie, I think they've done well. I think they've come in and they've against Chelsea they've done all right, and against Brentford they've done all right. So I think the defenders are doing all right. I think Saliba's back for Saturday. You know that, isn't it? I think he's back for Saturday. Apparently, they rested him for this game. Apparently, they didn't want to risk him. But he's
famous last words, my friend. Famous last words.
Before we wrap up, because I want to watch this Man United game. Manny, final words, bro.
Nothing much more to say except, look, I think it's fair to say that these two games against Aston Villa will probably be a very big test. If we beat Aston Villa at Villa Park, that could send their season, cartwheeling back down. But bear in mind that they will be doing some business in January. And so there's no way that we can catch them. We can, disregard them or dismiss them. We need to make sure that we take this game very seriously. And if, as Fuad says, Saliba is fit, that's a big, big bonus. But I still worry about, the threat that they possess. And it's normally, as everyone can agree, it's in the Christmas months, the winter months, of course, that we start to, stutter a little bit and lose our way. This is going to be a big test to see if we can get over that, Christmas, New Year hump. And if we can do this, then maybe this will give us the, the confidence we need to go further. But the biggest fear I have is that Aston Villa might end up doing a Leicester in 2016. And so I like what Seymour said about the parable of, I don't know what you said about pushing the boulder up, almost nearly getting there, but then having that feeling going back down. That 1% is really where you have to push through. The only problem is, biblically, as we would say, the spirit may be willing, but the flesh is weak. It's time to start bulking up.
That's good.
There you go, man.
That's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? Big up, Manny, man. Love for jumping on, bro. Love every single time. Always welcome.
Enjoy the game outside. Big up, everyone. See you all soon.
Big up, man.
Good to see you.
Big up,
Good to see you.
Big up. Doc. Last words, man. Last words for Mick. Super Mick is watching.
I swear. I mean, like a few people. I think like Curtis Shaw like typically says, like I'm not sure if we are in the Twilight Zone. Like I'm not sure if we are in some type of like alternate dimension or some type of social experiment supporting this club. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, like all we want to do is just see armpits in May. All we want to do is just see the club just fulfill its promise that it gave not only to itself but also to its fans after we had demolished Highbury. That's really what we want at the end of the day. How we get there, who's involved, doesn't really matter, and it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if it's Mikel Arteta or if it's Daffy fucking Duck, at the helm. The only important thing is that we have the personnel needed to get over the line. Because I can tell you, I'm sure as most of you well know, like 20, 30 years ago, like we're not talking about, set piece coaches and all of this, like technical staff, like in the back room, simply because, it was for the most part irrelevant, but simply because like our club has stagnated over the years. We are being forced to conduct an autopsy every single year to identify what the hell is going on, what we need to do, who's at fault, and who we need to replace to get over the line. So look, I mean, so at the end of the day, like I always say, I want to be proven wrong. It's on the people who make millions of pounds to prove us wrong. These are professional players, and this is a manager who is claimed and adored to be one of the greatest managers to have ever lived across any sport, across human history. So, proof is in the pudding. But ultimately, bro, thank you very much for having me on. I just want to give a little plug as well. So this is just like my Arsenal channel, but I do have a personal channel as well. It's called America's Public Servant. I'm going to be having my first inaugural stream tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, midnight UK time. So if you want to pop in, show some love for the love, man.
What's it called?
It's called America's Public Servant. And as well, as we're doing, there's like this one bloke in the chat, giving a whole lot of shtick to Gyökeres. I'm just gonna say this, all right? First and foremost, this this donut a-hole of a manager was saying, oh, we need to give, 29, 50, 60 games in order to, prove himself, X, Y, and Z, like as well
What's
as
the channel called? American what? American.
It is America's Public Servant, all one word. And simultaneously, this manager was also doing everything that he could and then some to get the best out of 29 from this, from this squad. So look, we know. Well, at least personally, I never wanted him at this club. But again, if he it's only up to the players and the manager to prove us wrong, and I hope they do. Because at the end of the day, they represent Arsenal, and we want to see our club be at the heights that it should be. If they can't do the job, they need to bounce. They need to bounce. And if we need to drag them out of London Colney by the ankles, kicking and screaming, so be it. Big up, bless up, gang.
Make sure you're subscribing to America's Public Servant, man. Big up, man. Every single time, man. I always appreciate when you jump on, man. Always, fam. Always. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the Man City fan, man. Why are you looking so down, man? You're looking so down.
They know that they're going to be walking the league this season in the second half. They already know. You know what I mean?
PK, final word, man. What's your thoughts like? Your final.
Yeah, I think what Arteta is doing is if he keeps on putting similar rigid tactics and then he doesn't change his 11 frequently, I think you guys should know that he's kind of getting complacent that nobody is going to be challenging against Arsenal, and that could be the reason for that could be another reason for his downfall, because that's what he's been doing ever since his game. So yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be taken us for granted. I mean, I won't say that for sure we're going to be charged up for the second half of the season, but people should be afraid of us. At least beware of us at least.
No, 100%. I think on this channel, everyone, all the real ones in the chat, we don't take Man City for granted, even when you don't look convincing. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we're always wary of you guys. Even the really good Liverpool teams were always wary of you guys. Always. That's one thing we need to learn from Liverpool fans. They never slept on Man City. No matter what the team was like, even for a rebuild, they always looked at City like the team that will always keep themselves thereabouts. You slip up, they'll take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Hopefully we win it, man. I just want to win the league. Do you know what I'm saying? I know Ford will be running his mouth the whole preseason. You know what I mean? Preseason, the parade. I know he ain't gonna let me live with it. You know what I mean? He's gonna be available for every stream.
You know, I'm gonna leave you alone, bro. I'm not gonna town two to your level.
This guy, man. Big up PK, man. Shut your channel. You got a channel? Shut your channel, bro.
Yes, as I've mentioned here, at Footy Matters. It's a new channel. I do watch-alongs basically, and I'll be doing watch-along for Man United West Ham. The game is already on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go, man.
Thanks.
Make sure you're subscribing, man. Make sure you're subscribing. Big up Fuad. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we're gonna redirect to Lee, man. Northside raid on the way in. Love. We're out.
Thanks, guys.